Hello and welcome to the Nordic Wolf Podcast. I am your host, Eric Darris. Today we are going to wrap up the NBA season. The New York Knicks defeated the San Antonio Spurs 4-1 in probably the most entertaining 5-game series that I've seen. We break that down and what it means for the Wolves here today. Welcome in. So, last night, the New York Knicks took down the San Antonio Spurs 4-1 in what many people were very surprised. I would say the Spurs were probably the consensus favorite. I know that betting odds had the Spurs as a roughly 2-1 favorite going into the series. I would say the general public, I would guess, was probably somewhere between 75% of the money would be coming in on the Spurs. They had just dethroned the reigning champs, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have still, to my belief, probably the best player on the planet. I would say he's lost some of his good grace with some of the antics he pulled during the series. I didn't really love that. But overall, the Spurs really had the lineup that should have beat the Knicks, I think most people believed. Now, I picked the Knicks in 6, so I guess I was close, but not quite there. And what I saw from the Knicks and how they beat him, so in my opinion, it starts with Jalen Brunson. You could see the process for him as he figured it out throughout the series. Games 1 through 3, he kind of struggled to get his shot going, struggled to find his spots, but he seemed to have really broke down specifically how to get to his spots. They would create switches. They would get him on Julian Champagnie. Once he got on Julian Champagnie, he was able to get around the corner pretty much at will. They used Cat when Cat could play, and that was one of the struggles that they dealt with when Cat would get in foul trouble, is they couldn't space the floor out because Wemby basically was able to roam in the paint. And early on, they struggled with that, and as the game went on, Cat, especially in the fourth quarter, there was a couple of plays where he got Wemby away from the paint. Brunson just drove right in, was able to get easy layups. But even on Wemby in the paint, Brunson, near the last couple of games of the series, was able to use his angles, use his positioning, and his ability for tough shot making to use angles and get it over Wemby, avoid shot blocks, and he just did it better than Shea, better than Ant, better than Denny Avdia, which, again, he's better than Denny Avdia. I think at this point it's hard not to rate him ahead of Ant after, he has an NBA championship. I still think Shea is probably a little bit better than him, but again, I think matchups mean everything. Shea's game is just not designed to have a whole lot of success against Victor Wembanyama, where Brunson, using angles, using his elite tough shot making, he's probably the best tough shot maker that I've seen in the NBA this year. And in the end of games, why you saw the Spurs, they had a 12-point lead at every point in every single game, and continually, 4 of the 5 games, the Spurs won. So at some point, something has to be breaking down. And at the end of the game, you saw it yesterday, when the needed to make a clutch shot, nobody really knew who was going to take the shot, where they wanted to get, how they wanted to set it up. And that falls on the Spurs players. They're young. They don't have experience. De'Aaron Fox needs to be that guy on the team. That's why he's there. And he just let them all down. So you have that. And then their coaching, they didn't set them up to get to their spots. And again, credit Cat on really eliminating the ISO kind of perimeter shots that, taking away all of the mid-range for Wemby was huge. He didn't lose that against the Thunder, definitely didn't lose it against the Wolves or the Trailblazers. And Cat really took that away, which made him basically a rim finisher, which obviously he still got his points there, or also three-point shooter, which again, if Wemby's living on the three-point line, we saw it again last night, he's going to make, probably 30 to 35%. But if you're the Knicks, you want him to be taking those shots. You want him away from the basket. You're getting better opportunities at rebounds. You're getting better opportunities to get back into transition, and you're getting him out of rhythm. I think we saw that game in and game out. The Knicks were able to weather the storm of the Spurs defense. The Spurs defense would tire out as the game went on. And then Jalen Brunson, again, with his elite shot making, the difference in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson knows exactly where he wants to go. He knows exactly how to get to his spots. And if they bring a double team, he knows how to get to the open man, and they can make those catch and shoot threes, those big shots, whether it's Josh Hart making some big shots, especially the last in game 5. I thought OG Anunoby, who didn't have a great shooting night last night, was great all series when he would get these open catch and shoot threes. And through game 4, it looked like he had a puncher's chance at being the MVP. Karl Anthony Towns through game 1 and 2, his defense that he played on Wemby throughout all 5 games. All this stuff was key. Other guys made big moments at big plays. I mean, Jose Alvarado was awesome in game 4 and was a big catalyst to that big comeback. Everybody stepped up. They were playing the best team basketball of really any team throughout the whole NBA playoffs. I mean, they lost 2 of their first 3 games in the playoffs, and then they lost 1 the rest of the way. I get the Eastern Conference was kind of a joke, but again, you don't see many teams during the regular season win 13 games in a row, let alone against all teams that are over 500 and in the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. So the Knicks were super impressive. They seemed like a team of destiny this year. But what does that mean for the Wolves? I mean, I think it's good in the long term for the Wolves, considering that the Wolves are likely moving to the Eastern Conference in a couple of years. And that's going to be the path for the Wolves. It's something very similar to what the Knicks just did. In the Western Conference, it's still going to be a lot harder. I think you have, even if you're able to get by one of Oklahoma City and San Antonio, I just know from, looking at it from a gambling perspective, you got to basically hit a 2-leg parlay where you're big-time underdogs. It's not great. It does make me think if we were healthy, maybe we give the Spurs a little bit more of a game, but, I mean, we lost in 6. 3 of the games were blown out by at least 29 points. I don't know if that's enough to, even with health, with Julius Randle playing like he did at the end of the year, with how much Rudy was incapable of providing anything in that series. I don't see any of that changing with Dante, even in healthy Ant. So, I mean, I think we're seeing, though, what Ant needs, because Brunson's chemistry, and Brunson, this is where I will say Brunson has maybe an edge on Ant at this point, is Brunson being the primary ball handler, primary creator in that offense. Players are able to play off of him, where Ant he did this year, but he wasn't very good at it. Ant needs to be the guy playing off it. So that's where, to me, it's just the glaring need. You need somebody that can handle the ball consistently and be the offensive engine, and Ant is going to need to play just the true guard, which is okay. Not every player needs to be a ball-handling number 1 player, and Ant can certainly play that as a backup, and I think he's plenty good as the secondary ball handler, secondary creator. But against these teams like the Spurs, like the Thunder, you just can't get past that defense if you don't have a elite level ball handler, and just right now Ant's not there. And I don't know if he's ever going to get to that level, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought it was a really good series overall for a 5-game series, 5 clutch games. The Knicks just were better in the clutch and knew how to create offense when the game got tight, and the Spurs didn't. So that is all for the Knicks Spurs for the NBA. After that, I actually want to go over some baseball betting and kind of my system that I have developed here that has now over a year of analytics to back it up, and we're going to go over that here next. All right, welcome back to the Nordic Wolf podcast. So, like I said before the break, we are going to talk some baseball betting. I would say, around this time last year, I kind of started testing this out, uh, and it's my system that I have, and so far it's been very successful with over a year now of data to back it up. So first, when you're going to do this, I suggest waiting until about June 1st because you do need some games for a pitcher to adjust their ERA to make this make sense. Otherwise, you're kind of taking a risk because if a pitcher's only pitched 2 starts, their stats are not quite where they're going to end. So step 1. When you're looking through the games, look at the pitcher matchup. Anytime a pitcher has a sub-4 ERA, that team qualifies. Step 2. Look at the underdog. Are they plus money? So, let's say, this week we've got, look at what I got. I have Atlanta and the New York Mets. Atlanta plus 109. Their pitcher, sub-4 ERA. Bet it. It's that simple. Sub-4 ERA, underdog with plus money, you bet the money line. Now, what you bet, that doesn't matter. It's all whatever your bankroll is, whatever makes the most sense for you. Don't bet more than your means because, again, like anything, any gambling implies risk. But for the analytics to back this up. So, last year, we'll pull up the analytics here. 2025 overall record from June 1st on. Because I didn't start this till about June 1st. 153 and 148 with a 14% return on investment. So, you think about from June till October, a 14% return on investment. You think about that in a stock term, that is a fantastic return. So, obviously, that's a 4-month sample, so I started again this year, and right now we're sitting at 33 and 23. 26% return on investment right now. I would guess it's going to end closer to that 14 right now, but that's typically where we're sitting at right now. So if it's something you want to try out, takes a little bit of research every day, but that is the baseball system that I use. There's no emotion to it. There's no second guessing. It's just if they fit that category, you bet it and you see if you won. I know since I put it in, I had $250 that I input into my account, and I have not had to put in any more money in over a year. That gets through football season, through baseball season, through basketball season, and I've withdrawn, upwards of 10 times that right now. So, it's working, and it's been profitable. Maybe one day, and I'll keep you guys updated if it goes south, but as the season goes, we'll kind of keep up with that record. So, hold myself accountable to it and see how that goes. But after this here, we're going to just finish up on some quick Vikings talk and wrap up the show. All right, final segment here today on the Nordic Wolf podcast. It's going to be a pretty short podcast today. As you can kind of figure, we're in the middle of summer. NBA season's over. We just have baseball season right now. But OTA's just wrapped up for the Vikings. And now they're pretty much quiet until training camp. So you got about a 2-month break here. Not a lot's going to happen. Obviously, the biggest story out of the Vikings minicamp is the quarterback battle. J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. At this point right now, I would say after the first week, I was convinced it sounded like Kyler Murray was easily going to win the job. But as things have progressed, it sounds like, to their credit, the coaching staff said this is not going to be decided prior to training camp. This is going to be a true training camp battle, quarterback battle, which again, to me, the best case scenario is J.J. McCarthy wins the job because that means J.J. McCarthy has made strides of improvement. He is our rookie drafted quarterback. He gives you your best chance for the future. With Kyler Murray, he is on a one-year deal. You cannot tag him with how his contract states. And so if he ends up being your quarterback of the future, you have this 1 year, and then you're paying him. And, you know, quarterback contracts, if he has a good enough year, he's probably getting $45 to $50 million a year at a minimum. And if he really blew up, obviously, I mean, that's a great scenario too. But then you're paying him 50 to 55 million potentially. You know, Jordan Love makes 55 million. If Kyler Murray looks like the best quarterback in the division, you know he's going to look at that and say, well, I want to make more than that guy. That's how the NFL works. We just saw Patrick Mahomes, first billion-dollar quarterback. He's going to be making upwards of $500 million quarterback, sorry. He's going to be making upwards of $60 million here in the next few years. So these contracts are getting insane. And JJ, you've got for 3 more years. Plus, you could tag him twice, potentially. But again, I think you're better off if he works out after 2 years. Probably getting, obviously, then he would be entering his 5th-year option. You'd want to have him under contract by then. I don't think regardless, he is proven, even if he wins the starting job, plays well, unless he looks like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, which isn't going to happen. You can't give him a contract after this year. I know he'll be eligible for an extension, but it just doesn't make sense yet. But that's kind of where it stands right now. It feels like it's going to be a true competition. I still tend to think Kyler Murray is going to win just because I've seen them both play football. I know what Kyler brings to the table. I've seen what JJ brings to the table, and I know JJ needs to bring a lot more to the table if he is going to be the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings this year. But overall, it's going to be a fun battle. I think the training camp season, which normally is pretty boring, not a lot of stuff happening, it's going to pick up, and it is going to be a fun quarterback battle for the Vikings. I don't know how Hard Knocks screwed this up and didn't do the Minnesota Vikings this year. They were the perfect fit. I think Seattle is going to be a pretty boring team. I don't really think it's fun to watch a team that just won the Super Bowl do Hard Knocks. And I know the Patriots are the year after. I think after all the Patriots offseason drama, that would have been a more fun Hard Knocks. But I think the Seahawks is going to be an all-time clunker for that. I'm a Sam Darnold fan, not the most exciting guy. And Mike McDonald, he's no Dan Campbell when it comes to that. So, yeah, that's where we're at with the Vikings season. As for here at the Nordic Wolf, as always, please keep up with my Substack. I have linked it to the bio. If you're looking to mirror off of my baseball bets, you can I use Better Edge. I can link you to my promo code for Better Edge, and feel free to reach out. I can, if you'd like to tail, happy to help out with somebody that wants to start if they're not quite understanding everything. Obviously, it's not that complicated, but I get it can be a little stressful. So yeah, feel free to reach out. You can message me via Substack. You can go my Facebook, The Nordic Wolf. And overall, I'm on X. I have no Instagram, but I should get that set up here. So again, very short show today. Just wanted to make sure I was touching base. And yeah, I thank you guys for listening, reading my stuff. And we will be back next week with a new show, and then we'll have a couple of articles. I should have one coming out here today also on the Vikings finishing up the NFC North preview with the Green Bay Packers. And then I will be having a Timberwolves article here, kind of working through some things on what I want to do it on. Being that we talked Spurs Knicks today, I probably will more lean towards trade targets. But yeah, we should be seeing that later this week. Thanks again, and have a great day.